What is Yerba Mate?
Okay, so Yerba Mate, it's not technically a tea, it's actually a herbal infusion. We came across Yerba Mate from footballers, and we sort of always knew that if things went to plan, that would be how we wanted to market it. It contains 7 of 9 essential amino acids. Growing in popularity here, I would say probably 1 in 2 people that we speak to about it have heard of it.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Catch Ups in My Kitchen, the podcast about all things food, health and wellness with me, Georgia Simmons, host of the podcast. This podcast aims to give you healthy tips and tricks in order for you to be the best version of yourself. And this episode really does do just that. As in my kitchen today, I am joined by Charan, who is the co-founder of Hearth, a natural energy drink brand which focuses on the ingredient Yerba Mate. If, like me, you're thinking, what is Yerba Mate? This episode is going to introduce you to a whole new natural source of energy. Honestly, I would say I'm pretty well knowledged on all things in the health space, but Yerba Mate, I was like, what is this? So in this episode, I asked Charan to explain to me the health benefits of Yerba Mate, what it is, the origins, and all of this. It was honestly such an interesting episode, and I am really excited for the growth of Hearth because I think it's going to go to some really exciting places. Charan also told me a lot about their journey to date and also the exciting ambassador that they have now got as part of the company. So I really hope this episode introduces you to a brand that you now go and try, because I was just drinking the pink grapefruit and ginger as we were recording this episode, and it is honestly delicious. As always, please could I ask you to click that follow and subscribe button and give us a rating. It honestly helps the growth of this podcast so much, and we are growing week on week, and so all the support is so highly appreciated. Thank you so much in advance, and I really hope you enjoyed the episode. Let's get stuck in. Charan, welcome to my kitchen. How are you?
Very well, thank you, Georgia. Thank you very much for having me.
Not at all.
I had a lovely stroll around Battersea just before I got here.
I know the sun's finally come out. I feel like we need this bit of sunshine.
Yeah, it is lovely, isn't it? Yeah.
So to kick things off, do you mind giving an elevator pitch, who you are and what you do?
Yep, so I'm Charan and our brand is called Hearth. We have a range of Yerba Mate based drinks, 3 flavours. You've got pink grapefruit and ginger there. I've got peach and yuzu, and we also have blood orange and rosemary.
I just had my first sip, and
yes,
it is delicious.
I'm very glad to hear.
It's really, really good. We'll go into that in more detail in a minute. Yeah. To kick things off as well, we have a quick fire round about all things food.
Okay, sounds good.
So, cook in or eat out?
Eat out.
What's your favourite restaurant in London?
Oh, favourite restaurant in London? That's a tricky one. And this is supposed to be quick fire.
I know, these are hard.
I would say favourite restaurant in London. There's so many have sprung to mind. I really want to say something basic. I want to have a proper think about it.
I know. It's like you can say something basic because I guess it's what first comes to mind. If you think right now, best spot in London for you would be.
Let's go with the place that my wife and I actually met is a place called Sebastian's Italian. So yeah, let's go for that.
Oh, good one. Okay, yeah, that sounds like a good answer.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your go-to Deliveroo?
Probably a Wagamama's.
Yeah, that's a popular shout on here.
Yeah.
And go-to cuisine?
I like Chinese food.
Good one.
Yeah.
What's your go-to fridge or cupboard staple?
Fridge or cupboard staple? I'm into dark chocolate at the moment.
Yes, yeah. I am so here for that.
Yeah.
I actually really can't stand milk or white chocolate, and I know that's really controversial.
Yeah.
But I feel like once you start appreciating dark chocolate,
yeah,
you then have milk chocolate, and you're like, oh, that's a bit sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a dark chocolate fan. What's your favourite dark chocolate brand?
I'm just on Lindt at the moment.
Yeah.
90%. My wife is the opposite, so I
90.
buy chocolate for myself and my wife, and she has like 30% or white,
yeah,
and I have 90. So
90, that is very good. Yeah. I've gone like 80, 85. I think I've gone
okay.
85. I don't think I've gone all the way to 90 yet.
But I tried 100 actually. Have you tried 100?
No.
100 is acquired. It was a little bit strong for me, so I dropped back down to 90.
Yeah, dropped back to but 10% less.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and what's your favourite dish to cook at home?
Oh, I'm not much of a cook, unfortunately. My speciality would probably be a seafood paella.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for not
Okay.
being much of a cook, that's pretty good.
It's been a while since I've done it, but yeah, I help my wife with a tiramisu, but she does the majority of the work. Yeah.
Okay, these
So
are
that
good.
is what I would do. Yeah.
Okay, so first question is, what is yerba mate?
Okay, so yerba mate, it's not technically a tea, it's actually a herbal infusion. So we didn't know about it until fairly recently, well, relatively recently anyway. So we came across it actually on Instagram, seeing kind of footballers drinking it. So often kind of the club Instagram profiles would post pictures or videos of players, South American players, going into grounds, and they'd be carrying kind of this leather carry case, I guess, with a wooden cup, a big flask, and a metal straw as well. And it's obviously kind of quite an intriguing setup. So we saw it a few times, and then eventually decided to try and work out what it was, and discovered that it was called yerba mate. And as I say, it's a herbal infusion with kind of a number of health properties and benefits. And it's almost a culture and a way of life in Argentina in particular, Uruguay, other places in South America too. So when we typed it into our phone, not at the time actually, but now if you type it into your phone, you get the little emoji pop up as well. So it's growing in popularity here. I would say probably 1 in 2 people that we speak to about it have heard of it.
Okay.
But yeah.
And what are the health benefits?
There are lots. Do you want me to spin you through all of them?
Yeah, because I think I'd never heard of it.
Okay.
And I would say I'm quite aware of a lot in the health food space. And I was really like, oh my God, Georgia, why have you not heard of this? Like, what is this? This is really exciting, because I think it's really cool when you see things come over to the UK, and I'm always really intrigued, like, how did it get here? And like, obviously you've mentioned kind of like the football has probably influenced it massively.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so intrigued at 2 things: the health benefits and why it's not as popular. Well, it's now growing, but why it hasn't been as popular in the UK before until now, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So it contains 7 of 9 essential amino acids and pretty much kind of every vitamin and mineral that your body needs. It's also it contains something called chlorogenic acid. So what that does, it slows the release of glucose in your body, and that kind of essentially gives you the sort of longer lasting boost of energy that mate provides, rather than traditional caffeine sources where perhaps you might get kind of a high and then crash soon after. So that's one of its kind of primary antioxidants. It's actually got more antioxidants than any other tea-based drink. Wow. And it's got some stimulants as well. Caffeine obviously being the primary one, but it's also got theophylline, which is found in tea, and theobromine, which is found in chocolate. And theobromine is what's known as a vasodilator. So it's the opposite to caffeine. So it kind of decreases hypertension and reduces blood pressure. So that kind of offsets the jittery kind of buzzy effect that caffeine sometimes gives you. So that's why footballers would kind of drink it before a match, and it would kind of keep them going for a good couple of hours after. Okay,
interesting. Because one of my questions was, how is it different to coffee? But I guess you've answered that in terms of like, it doesn't give you that crash.
Exactly.
That's so interesting. And I think my brother, I actually end up mentioning my brother on here a lot at the moment, but like, we're very different, which is why I use him as an example. But he doesn't drink any caffeine in his diet, and I think that's because he really is quite sensitive to it, and he does get those jitters.
Yeah.
So this is probably a really good alternative to him, because sometimes he's like, I'm so tired, and I'm like, I know you don't want to, but just have a coffee. Yeah. He doesn't even have tea. He honestly has nothing.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and I find it fascinating. Not that I'm a caffeine addict by any stretch, but like, I need that 1 coffee a day and I really enjoy it. But maybe this is the kind of thing that he would like, because it's not got that kind of jittery crashiness. But so I'm guessing in terms of the effect it has on you, it just gives you that boost naturally without giving you jitters or feeling like your heart's not racing or anything like that.
Exactly that. Yeah. So my wife is quite sensitive to caffeine, and kind of cheap drunk coffee, but kind of experience some of the negative effects that you spoke about. But kind of having tried this, so we tried this for the first time, yerba mate, in its sort of traditional format, And it's quite an acquired taste. So in South America, they drink it from a young age, and so they I guess become used to it. But for us that were relatively new to it, it's quite a kind of an earthy, bitter taste. And going back to your question about kind of why maybe it's not as popular here, I think that is probably part of the reason, and another part is, so when we saw it and kind of wanted to try it, it's not that easy to get hold of everything that you need. So we ended up buying what we needed from kind of specialty stores online. So it was that combination of things. So we kind of thought to ourselves, can we make something that's a little bit more accessible kind of for a Western audience, and maybe a little bit more palatable as well, I guess.
And why is it served like in a wooden bowl with is it wooden straw or metal straw?
Metal straw, wooden cup, yeah.
Wooden cup.
Exactly,
why,
yeah.
Why that? Why is it served like that traditionally?
Well, it's been drunk for centuries, so I guess that was, I guess how it was, kind of cups wouldn't have been metal in those days. They would have been kind of fashioned out of wood, so for necessity, I guess, and like I say, there's a big tradition around it, so I guess it's kind of carried on. And a lot of the footballers will have kind of personalised mate gourds, we call them, and like stickers on their flasks and all sorts.
Okay, amazing. So why Hearth then? So you see this, you see footballers drinking it, I'm guessing on TV,
yes,
and you're like intrigued, like what is this? You then go through the discovery of finding out what it is.
Yeah.
So then why did you think, I know, let's make an energy drink out of it? What was that pivotal moment for you?
So we kind of tried it in our kitchen, having ordered everything in. Didn't love the taste, as I said, but kind of loved the feeling that we felt after trying it, because it was almost like a feeling of being kind of alert and focused, rather than sort of, you know, how sometimes after caffeine you're kind of a little bit almost like a dizzy type feeling, like a buzzy feeling. So we thought, how can we capture that feeling but make it, as I say, kind of more accessible and taste good as well. And we thought kind of a canned version was our best bet at doing that. So in the first instance, what I tried to do, actually, I ordered in, or I got I should have got a soda stream, but I just got some like carbonated water, different fruits and stuff, and tried to do it at home. But then we realised we'd be kind of much better off speaking to someone that knows what they're doing. So yeah.
And what do you think are the kind of barriers to bringing this to market? Because I'm kind of thinking about like the competitors out there, and like, what do you think your barriers are as a new brand in the space?
So there's nothing particularly proprietary about what we've done in terms of kind of creating a canned version of a Yerba Mate drink. There are kind of a couple of others on the market doing something kind of vaguely similar. I suppose what the point of difference that we hope to have through the brand is kind of the brand itself, and also the association with football. So as I mentioned, we came across Yerba Mate from footballers, and we sort of always knew that if things went to plan, that would be how we wanted to market it.
This episode is sponsored by Access Biotics, a groundbreaking natural food supplement which uses 4 billion live bacteria, which specifically help support skin health through the gut microbiome. I have always had pretty good skin and take a lot of care in the products I use and my skincare routine, but I've always suffered from psoriasis, and recently I have had a rash on my chin which I can't seem to get rid of. I have therefore been taking Access Biotics in order to help with this, as the ingredients specifically help with psoriasis and other skin conditions, and I'm already noticing a difference. Since speaking to the Access Biotics team, I have heard that 2 in 100 people in the UK also suffer with psoriasis, which is a crazy statistic that I was not aware of. Therefore, if you are tired of trying different products and want something that actually works in order to support your gut microbiome and benefit your skin, give Access Biotics a go. You can buy their 28-day supply directly from their website at www.accessbiotics.com, and you can receive 10% off if you use the code CATCHUPS. Have it with some warm water on an empty stomach in the morning and you will notice a world of difference. Now let's get back to the episode.
And recently we managed to do that. Should I talk about that?
Yeah, I was going to say,
normally
this is
mention
quite
it straight
exciting.
away, yeah.
So let's touch on, so you've just got Alexis McAllister, am I right?
Yes, absolutely.
Who plays for Liverpool?
He does indeed.
Yeah, so he's now an ambassador.
Yes.
So I'd love to touch on how you got him as an ambassador, firstly.
Yeah, well, it's quite a long story and a winding story as well. So fortunately, a friend of mine who actually lives in Battersea is a commercial football agent. So that always helps.
Yeah.
So basically, what we did, Georgia, was we made a list of kind of South American players playing in England that drink yerba mate. So predominantly Argentinians, Uruguayans as well, and kind of went through the list. And we kind of wanted someone that ticked the box on the playing side. So was kind of fairly early on in his career and kind of on the way up, if possible, and also, probably more importantly for us, kind of personality-wise, we wanted someone that really bought into what we were doing, and kind of understood the long-term nature of what we were sort of asking. So most kind of football commercial deals would be for a huge sum of money, and the player kind of just does a few Instagram posts, and then you're done. We obviously don't have the type of money that kind of a Premier League footballer would command for a commercial deal typically. So we offered equity in the company instead of the kind of big fee, which is, it's not the easiest sell when you're kind of a new brand and they're used to kind of like the likes of Gatorade or Pepsi knocking on the door. So yeah, we wanted a player that kind of really understood and bought into what we were doing, and fortunately kind of Alexis ticked all the boxes for us.
Yeah.
He's also a really nice guy, which
helps.
Which helps. Yeah, it does. So our kind of launch video with him went live fairly recently. We ran into some issues. You've seen it?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I checked it out.
Oh, good. I'm glad. We had some issues with it, so we refer to a couple of other brands.
Yeah.
And they happen to be, or a couple of them happen to be sponsors of his club, Liverpool.
Oh.
So yeah, they weren't too happy with. We don't actually. So we refer to Coca-Cola, and we say that they very successfully combine kind of caffeine and sugar, and are obviously the biggest drink in the world. So we didn't actually say anything bad about them, but they weren't too happy with sort of the association. So we had to make some slight changes, but fortunately the video is back up now and you can see it.
Yeah, it's great. And so why is it important to have an ambassador like that? Because I think it's amazing that you guys have got this, but why? Yeah. What difference is that going to make to the brand?
So yeah, we existed in a previous guise with different flavors and a different look as well, and we were kind of things were progressing pretty well. Like we got into Planet Organic fairly early on, and then Harrods as well. But we just thought kind of it was around the same time that kind of Prime was doing what it was doing. Yeah. And we just thought, how on earth are we supposed to compete with Logan Paul and KSI? So we thought with the association with football, perhaps this is our best bet. So yeah, as I say, it was always kind of a bit of a dream to make that happen, and then eventually with George, the guy I mentioned, the agent, the connections that he had, he was able to. He did a lot of the hard work actually in terms of kind of getting us in the room with the players, and then kind of when we were able to speak to them and show them the drinks, they tried them. That was when things really kind of kicked into gear.
Amazing. And you mentioned that you pre-existed before kind of the Hearth we're seeing in front of us now.
Yeah.
What did that look and feel like, and why did you change it?
Very different. So the cans were a lot busier. So we kind of tried to emphasize the South American nature of the drinks. So it was kind of like a jungle rainforest type look. And a lot of people were slightly confused because so the brand was far less prominent than the ingredients. So we had Yerba Mate, sort of much bigger, and Hearth, kind of quite a small logo at the top. And we, in the first instance, we sort of thought that we saw ourselves as almost a vessel or a means of introducing Yerba Mate to people, and that the brand was almost secondary. And having kind of obviously got a bit of experience since then, we realised that if we're to make a success of this, then it will be through the brand, because as we touched on before, there's nothing proprietary about Yerba. We don't own Yerba Mate. It's our brand that's going to be crucial. So we wanted something that was kind of a little bit cleaner, a bit bolder, I guess, as well. So the hope with the look of these new cans is that if you kind of see them on a shelf in a supermarket,
they catch your eye for sure.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. And why the name Hearth?
Hearth. So there are a few different reasons. The primary one, I guess, is we thought most people tend to go for kind of a fancy Latin name. So we did the opposite. So the Latin word for hearth is actually focus, and we thought kind of Yerba Mate essentially makes you feel as if you're focused. So we'd kind of switch things up, and happily there's also kind of the word heart and earth in there as well. So we're a plant-based ingredient that's good for you, better for you than I suppose traditional energy drinks. So that was the thinking. Yeah. Although a lot of people say Hearth. And it was a bit of a job when we were filming the video with Alexis. He naturally said Hearth as well, so there were a few outtakes.
You're like, right, if you're going to work for us, you've got to understand, you've got to get the name right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, there's going to be some. We're going to kind of release some of the outtakes there. Some pretty.
Yeah, that's ones. Good. And you've kind of gone to focus, as you mentioned, kind of to sport people in the sporting world. Yeah. People who want to kind of better themselves in sport or want to get the energy before a game. Why have you gone for that? I guess it's good to have a target market 100%. Obviously the aim is to have everyone drinking Hearth, but why have you gone for that kind of niche market in particular?
The football's been our angle at it, Georgia. I suppose though, kind of with the flavours that we have, I suppose you kind of associate them more with sort of a fairly premium type drink rather than a sports or performance drink. So although we are kind of marketing through the medium of football, well, that's one of the channels that we're marketing through, I think we see ourselves long term as sort of an equivalent to a coffee rather than equivalent to an energy drink. Like we hope, and fortunately we've kind of got some messages already from people that previously drunk kind of the likes of Red Bull and Monster and have switched to us, which has been great. But yeah, I think we kind of, if we were to pick one, I think we'd see ourselves as more of a coffee alternative than necessarily an energy drink alternative. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so if a consumer is looking at the energy drink category and they're standing there and they're looking at what to get, and you've got Monster, Lucozade, I'm trying to think of others on top of my head, Hearth.
Yeah.
Why would you tell someone to pick Hearth over Monster and Lucozade and Red Bull?
One reason, or do you want lots?
Well, if you have lots, give me lots.
The primary reason would be the type of energy that Hearth through Yerba Mate would provide you. So with the likes of Red Bull and stuff, you'll often get people drinking kind of multiple cans a day because of the kind of the high and crash type sequence that we've spoken about. So that the energy that we kind of try to provide, or hopefully do provide, it's reflected in our logo on the can as well. So it's kind of a balanced, slow releasing, kind of more gradual type of energy, and it's a performance type energy in that it's kind of a focus rather than a jittery kind of scatty type feeling.
Yeah, nice.
That would be the primary reason, I would say. Hopefully we taste better as well, and there's far less sugar than some that you mentioned.
I want to touch on that, because this doesn't taste, if I'm walking on the street and someone's drinking a Red Bull, I can probably smell it before I see it. Yeah. I'm like, oh god, there it is. And I'm really not a Red Bull drinker. Yeah. Like the smell, I'm like, I can't do that. Yeah. And also, actually, I was out on the tube the other day and someone was drinking Monster next to me, and I was like, I can smell that as well. Really? Like I can just smell it. Right now, I've got Hearth in front of me, cannot smell it. Yeah. And it tastes so clean, but so tasty at the same time. So what have you done in order to create that? Because it's not artificial. I feel like it really, like the flavors are really profound, but not kind of fake. So how have you created that?
Well, thank you first of all for the kind comments. So I guess there's generally, when you're creating a drink now, there are few people that would kind of go down the high sugar route the way that things have gone recently. So essentially you have two choices. You can go sort of 0 calorie and use either artificial flavors or artificial sweeteners or kind of natural flavors as well. or you can have kind of a little bit of fruit juice and a little bit of sugar. And we opted for the latter, largely for the reasons that you spoke about kind of not wanting it to taste kind of contrived or chemically or artificial in a sense, or like sometimes some brands use sort of stevia for sweetening, and you get a bit of an aftertaste with that. So we wanted to keep it at low sugar, but we kind of wanted to keep the ingredients sort of real, so we used real fruit juice, and that's thankfully why you kind of get the true flavors.
Yeah, you really do. And like, how did you come about with the flavors combinations? Because they're not your normal combinations, but they are incredible. I didn't actually know which one to choose, because I was like, these all sound amazing. So we've got peach and yuzu, pink grapefruit and ginger, and blood orange and rosemary. So why those combinations?
I'll crack one open with you as well. Yeah, so fortunately we came across some really excellent recipe developers, and they put together various combinations for us. And myself and my wife went to go test all the various options. She was quite pregnant at the time, actually. She probably consumed more caffeine than she should have. But yeah, they did kind of an incredible job. And actually, so my favourite is the one that you've got there, the pink grapefruit and ginger. My least favourite is the one that I've got here, the peach and yuzu. And I said to my wife at the time, I said that I actually wanted to include a fourth option that we didn't go with in the end. And she said, no, trust me, peach and yuzu tastes amazing. People will love it. I wasn't convinced at the time, but I obviously listened to her. And it's turned out that peach and yuzu is far and away kind of our most popular flavour, and pink grapefruit and ginger is actually
How
third.
Funny.
Yeah. So
do you think it's got anything to do with the can colours?
I don't know, Georgia. I think maybe people are slightly put off by ginger in a drink.
True. People might think, ginger shot, not for me.
Yeah.
Or I think health, that's for me.
Yeah. But yeah, it's funny how things have worked out. So we've started to see, obviously it's early days still, and what people tend to do. So we have kind of 6 or 12 can options on our website, and people tend to kind of go for an even mix of a 6 or a 12 in the first instance, and then it's been kind of interesting to then see them sort of go up to a 24 or a 48 and see how they kind of mix and combine the flavors. But
that is interesting.
Peach and yuzu is the front runner.
And what's your relationship like with caffeine? So do you still drink coffee? How's that journey going?
I do still drink coffee. I don't know if I should say that. I suppose it's I don't know, it's not really a rival product, I guess.
No, I think there's an art to coffee, isn't there?
Yeah.
And it's very much something, I mean, you wouldn't warm this up, for example.
No.
So it's something nice about having a hot drink.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't think it's a rival. So it's good to know that you still have coffee.
I do, absolutely, yeah. And I think we are kind of definitely a summer drink in a sense. So kind of a nice cold can. So yeah, we understand that we're not gonna kind of kick coffee out of the game. So yeah, no, I still do drink coffee. I think a lot of people tend to say that they have a Hearth kind of after their lunch to kind of get over the post-lunch slump and get them through the rest of the working day. It's interesting though. So I was Alexis mentioned that he will drink kind of mate at any time, even fairly late on in the evening. So yeah, different people have different relationships with caffeine. Obviously, your brother avoids it completely.
Yeah.
I suppose in a sense we almost want to kind of take away the stereotype when it comes to caffeine. So some people will hear that the drinks contain caffeine and they'll maybe associate it with kind of a traditional energy drink and think, well, that can't be any good for me. But yeah, we want to, I guess, try and sort of turn people and make them realise that there are those energy drinks, but that we're not them.
Yeah. And would you say, I mean, I don't normally have caffeine after like 12.
Yeah.
I don't have a coffee after 12.
Okay.
But I'm guessing this is kind of similar in terms of what do they say about caffeine having like a half life? I'm guessing it's the
Stays
same.
in your,
I'm guessing it's the same thing, but maybe it's not as intense.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Exactly. So those compounds that I mentioned sort of do a good job of sort of offsetting the negative effects of caffeine. And I like you, I have a coffee in the morning and then that's it, and then I'll kind of normally have one of these in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And it hasn't affected my sleep.
Yeah, so far, so you're okay.
Yeah.
And have you noticed a difference in your overall health having introduced Yerba Mate into your lifestyle?
You probably have to ask my wife, actually. I haven't been sick for a while. And yeah, it's more kind of the mental feeling that it gives you. You just feel kind of switched on and focused. Not particularly the physical health. Although there have been some studies that show that it sort of helps to reduce lactic acid when you're working out, so you don't cramp as much. But unfortunately, I don't do as much exercise as I'd like, so I haven't noticed that as much. I wouldn't want to say to you that it's going to transform absolutely everything in your life, but you maybe will probably be a better judge than me on that.
No, I guess it's just kind of sustained energy. I mean, you know, we're filming this at 4:30 on a Friday. Yeah. And, you know, today I was thinking I could tell it was Friday. I was a bit like, I'm a bit more tired. Yeah. And this is really definitely, I can feel the energy, but I don't feel like I've had episodes where I've had a coffee and I'm like jittery. Yeah. And you're like, oh my God, don't show it. But I don't feel like that at all. Like I feel very good. Just like kind of a bit more awake. That's all. Like I don't feel anything apart from like more refreshed and a bit more energized, which I guess is what it does. And I'd love to touch on the fact that this is a husband-wife duo. So how's that been working with your wife on this? It's been really good. So I was talking to someone about this the other day, actually, about the fact that kind of some co-founders perhaps don't know each other that well outside of the business. Whereas, so as you spoke about with your business as well, previously working in food and drink, it can be difficult at times, particularly around sort of production runs and logistics and things like that. Things do tend to go wrong. And on a day where sort of the ingredients go to the wrong place or they're the wrong quantity, something like that, it's really nice to kind of be able to speak to I should definitely have named my wife before this point. She'll be furious. We're about half an hour in. Her name's Pav. Okay. So yeah, it's nice to kind of be able to speak to her and she'll kind of help me zoom out, I guess, and see the bigger picture and help me understand that it's a surmountable obstacle. Yeah. Which is really helpful. And as with the peach and yuzu, she just got a great instinct when it comes to what people will like, and with the designs as well. She was pretty much the brains behind that. She kind of picked this direction for us. So yeah, she's I do a lot of the boring behind the scenes stuff. She's the kind of the creative and the one that comes up with the ideas. Yeah. I love that. And so what is next for Hearth? So where are you stocked? Are you stocked anywhere at the moment? And what's next? Can you share anything? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So we're exclusively online for the moment, Georgia. So it's been about a month since the video went live with Alexis. So what we're doing at the moment is trying to build the brand as much as we can, and then kind of with the previous guys, we started conversations with supermarkets, but we don't want to get in there at a stage where we're still early and people don't yet know who we are, and we sit on the shelf, and then you kind of get into the territory of delisting and stuff like that. So we're kind of quite happy with the way that things are going along. Obviously with Alexis's profile and him sort of posting the video, plenty of people have seen it. And there's been a really positive reaction off the back of it. So lots of people have kind of got in touch and wanted to speak to him, and various YouTubers and stuff want to film football related stuff with him. Amazing. So it's kind of a case of balancing, obviously football his priority and his main job. So it's kind of finding some gaps in his schedule and making things work in that sense. We're also hopefully going to go up to Liverpool and share samples with the squad. So that's cool. That's one to look forward to. Yeah. Yeah. Amazing.
So yeah, there's plenty of stuff.
Well,
in
it
the
looks
pipeline.
great. It tastes great. It's
Thank
super
you.
exciting. I think I'm really not your energy consumer. Like I have never really touched an energy drink. I just wouldn't go to it for
Yeah.
energy source. I just have never before.
Yeah.
But now I've had this. I'm like, wow, this is actually great. And I think it's really, really cool. I love the kind of history behind it. I love how it's kind of come from Argentina and like the culture's kind of, I love that. I like the whole story. I think that's really nice. And it's great to be introduced to a whole new energy source that is a bit different and has got also great health benefits as well. And I think we're all so much more aware now of our health and wanting to consume things with those added benefits. I think it's not one dimensional anymore. It's not just energy. Like, it's nice to have the backstory and like the other benefits too. So it's really, really cool. So we have a final question about all things food, which is, what would your last meal be? So this is starter, main course and dessert. Another big question, so I'm sorry. But yeah.
No, not at all. Well, I was going to say as well that you did a fantastic job about speaking about the brand and the price as well. So maybe I should clip that up and send that to the supermarket buyers.
There you go. I can be your salesman any day.
Yeah, absolutely. My last meal. Okay. Well, if it's my last meal, then I can probably not worry about health and stuff too much. It can be absolutely anything.
Yeah.
I've been really feeling like a nice burger recently.
Yeah, burger is a popular choice as a last meal.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I watched. Do you know the channel on YouTube, Jolly? It's a couple of English guys. They went to America and they were kind of looking for the best burger in America. I always watch that channel whilst I'm eating, actually, so that I don't feel hungry after.
Yeah.
But it just made me feel like a burger, like really bad. Yeah. So I know a lot of people go to Five Guys, but I've got a nut allergy, so I can't go there. So I need to find somewhere else that does a really good burger.
A really good burger.
Yeah.
So that would be your main course. What would be your starter?
Oh, a starter. But it doesn't really go. But
That's
the other
fine.
thing that I haven't had for a while is a nice bit of sushi.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah. I don't know where I'd go for it, but yeah.
Sushi, then a burger. This is great. And then dessert.
Oh, I'm not much of a dessert guy, to be honest. I will say, I would say my wife's tiramisu. There you go. That will get
You got brownie points for saying that.
Exactly,
as well.
exactly. It's very heavy on the Baileys.
Amazing.
So we don't drink ordinarily, but we have plenty of fun with that.
I love it. Well, Charan, thank you so much for coming on. Honestly, I've loved getting to know Hearth in more detail. I think this is really early days for you guys. It's been great to have you on so early and hear more about it. And I think it's going to go to cool places. I think the can is really cool, having the black tin. It really stands out. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Georgia. It's been great speaking to you.